Good day, BS Office Administration, third year. This is an introduction to human anatomy and physiology. Human anatomy and physiology is the scientific study of the structure, which is the anatomy and function or the physiology of the human body. For non-medical students like you, this subject offers practical knowledge that promotes health awareness, helps you understand basic body mechanics, and also equips you to make informed decisions for your well being. This discussion will comprehensively cover the foundational concepts of anatomy and physiology to set the stage for deeper exploration later on as we discuss each of the body systems. The early studies on body functions, the curiosity about how the human body works has existed for centuries, leading to the development of anatomy and physiology as scientific disciplines. Let's try to look at some milestones in this journey. So, as you can see here, these are the pen and ink sketches by Leonardo da Vinci entitled, this one, the first one is A Dead or Moribund Man in Bust Length. So, detailing the muscles of the arm and the veins of the arm and trunk. And this is a much more common or famous sketch from Leonardo da Vinci, the Vitruvian Man, showing the proportions of the human body. Also, in the ancient civilizations, the early Egyptians practiced rudimentary surgery and embalming techniques, gaining basic insights into body structures, wherein the Greeks, particularly this person, Hippocrates, he emphasized the natural causes for diseases, moving away from the what was common back then, which is the supernatural explanations. So Hippocrates is regarded as the father of medicine, and he introduced the concept that the body operates as a whole system. Next here we have Galen. So Galen's influence on medicine. He is a Roman physician. He's known by his advanced knowledge on animal anatomy. So because during those times, human dissection was often a taboo, or it was a forbidden point of contention back then. So his works remained authoritative for centuries. He compared the human organ system as likened to what he sees sa animal studies when he was dissecting animals. During the Renaissance period, we have Andreas Vesalius. He revolutionized anatomy by dissecting human cadavers, providing accurate and detailed illustration na compared to what Galen had produced during his time, mas tama na ang proportions of the organs of the human body, hindi na siya likened to animal organ systems. And he published his book De Humani Corporis Fabrica, which he had showcased his illustrations or the proper and accurate depictions of what human body actually is, because he has used actual human cadavers during this time. These early explorations laid the groundwork for modern medicine and taught us that the body is an intricate, interconnected system requiring both structural and functional understanding. Next, let's define the interconnectedness of anatomy and physiology. So, Understanding anatomy and physiology requires appreciating their interdependence. So for anatomy, anatomy is the study of the physical structures of the body. It answers the question, what is this? Or where is it located? Yan. That's anatomy. So for example, the stomach, it is a J-shaped organ. So what is it? What is a stomach? A J-shaped organ. And it is located sa abdominal cavity, wherein that's the anatomy of what a stomach is. But if we're talking about physiology, it explores the function of the structure. So it answers, how does it work? What is its purpose? So for example, as we talked about the stomach earlier, uh, its anatomy is being a J-shaped organ located at the abdominal cavity. Its physiology, or the function, is that it breaks down food using enzymes and acids to aid digestion. So what is the interconnection of structure and function? Why do we need to study anatomy and physiology interchangeably? And kumbaga, if you study physiology, di mawawala si anatomy. If you study anatomy, di mawawala si physiology. It's because the structure of a body part or the anatomy determines its function or its physiology. So for instance, ang thin, flat shape ng red blood cells, it allows them to easily flow through the blood vessels and carry oxygen. So in contrast with bone structures, which are rigid, no, rigid structures. Because bones naman, why are their anatomy rigid? Bakit kailangang they are, what do you call this, matigas or firm? Yan. It's because ang ila na physiology or the function is for protection. And of course, it supports movements. Yan. And also protects internal organs. So that is why that the structure of a specific organ, no, or its anatomy is definitive of what its function is. So understanding the relationship helps us comprehend how the body maintains life and how the body adapts to changes. Here, as you can see, this is the etching and engraving inked Alapupain red and black ink from Giuseppe del Medico, Anatomia per uso di Pittore e Sculture from Rome. This exact illustration of the cranial bone, the skull. And here is an illustration of the red blood cells flowing through the veins. The significance of homeostasis, we've already had our prior idea about what homeostasis is, but what is its significance? One of the most critical concepts in physiology is the homeostasis, which is the body's ability to maintain a stable internal environment despite ang external changes. So for example, we need, or our body needs to regulate itself for us to reach the optimal conditions for survival. So for example, your body temperature regulation. So the body maintains a temperature around 37 degrees Celsius through mechanisms like, how do we achieve homeostasis for that? The body can use the mechanism for temperature regulation by sweating. No? If mainit, we sweat in order for us to cool down. Or if it's too cold, our body shivers in order for our body to generate heat. So it is a mechanism for temperature regulation. What else? Blood sugar control. So when blood sugar rises after eating, the hormone insulin signals cells to absorb glucose, preventing hyperglycemia. And that is why if a person has, for example, diabetes, which hindi na siya makaregulate properly or makakontrol properly ng blood sugar levels, he needs external help of needs kumbaga maintenance of insulin as medication. Next is the pH balance. This is how the body maintains the blood pH at around 7.4, which is crucial naman for enzyme function and overall health. So, neutral pH indicator or pH level. Hindi tayo masyadong acidic, hindi tayo masyadong basic. Nasa 7.4 or around those level. Mas maintained ang homeostasis of our blood pH. And what happens if the ability of the body to maintain an optimum balance is disrupted? What will happen if ma-disrupt yung homeostasis? So, when homeostasis is disrupted, it can lead to illnesses. So, for example, mga prolonged inability to regulate blood sugar, it can cause diabetes. So, next is failure to maintain fluid balance may lead to dehydration or edema. So, yun. If there is a disruption sa homeostasis, which literally means the ability of the body to maintain balance or optimum balance for it to survive, logically speaking, magkakasakit ka. So, understanding homeostasis underscores the importance of balance for health and survival. Next, let's go to the biological levels of organization. The human body is organized into hierarchy of structural levels, each building upon the previous. So each is made up or composed of the previous level. So sa chemical level, ang simplest level involves the atom. So carbon, oxygen, yan. And molecules. Multiple atoms would give us molecules, no, each building upon the previous level. So if atoms are carbon, oxygen, molecules, when atoms are grouped together, they became molecules such as, for example, water, protein, something like that. Next, molecules, they form the building blocks of cells, which here, as you can see, the macromolecules, and then if macromolecules are grouped together, they can form organelles. Yan. And then if organelles form together to achieve a specific task, they form the cell. So at the cellular level, as we all know, cell is the basic unit of life, and each cell has a specific function. So for example, si red blood cell, ang function nila is transporting oxygen all throughout the body. So, red blood cells cannot be transmitting signals kasi hindi yun yung function niya. What type of cell na may function or physiology na transmit signals are the neurons or the nerve cells. So, makikita naman sa anatomy of the specific type of cells kung ano ang kanilang function. And if cells are grouped together, we will now be able to form tissue. So at the tissue level, groups of similar cells working together to perform a specific function, magiging isang type or isang category sila of that specific tissue. So there are 4 primary tissue types. First is the epithelial tissue, which has a function or physiology of covering surfaces of your body. We also have connective tissue, which supports and binds, and also muscle tissue, which facilitates movement. And lastly, the nervous tissue, which transmits signals. At the organ level, if multiple types of tissues are grouped together to form or may specific tasks sila, no? Achieving a specific goal, they are considered as an organ. So at the organ level, organs are structures composed of multiple tissue types that perform specific functions. So for example, mga tissues that may kinalaman sa digestion, of course, they will form stomach or ang digestive system. Yan. So, for example, if it's tissues with that can transport, ang ilang function is to transport food from the mouth to the stomach, yan. So, may organ ka na esophagus. Yun. And if these organs will be grouped together to perform naman specific function all together, so makakabuo ka na ng isang organ system. So, that's why we mentioned digestive system earlier kasi if tissues will be grouped together to form the stomach and then other types of tissues will be grouped together to form esophagus. But if these two organs will work together, they will be able to form the organ system of specifically what we're talking about is the digestive system. So for the digestive system, ang purpose or ang iyang physiology is break down food into nutrients. That's why it's shaped that way and that's why it's located in specific areas as it is. So next, ano pang example ng organ system? Respiratory system. The exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide occurs in the respiratory system. And if multiple organ systems are grouped together na may one goal, which is the well-being of the human, that is defined na or that in turn will be considered as one organism. At the organism level, it is the highest level representing the complete living individual where all systems work together to sustain life. And this organization, all of this, reflects how simple building blocks form complex functional systems. Let's go to the major organization of the human body. So the body is further organized into regions and cavities and systems to help us understand its layout and function, aside from the organ systems. So we have the body cavities. These are the spaces that house and protect vital organs. So for example, ang cranial cavity, as you can see right here, it protects or it contains the brain. The thoracic cavity, as you can see here in purple, contains the heart and lungs and is protected by the rib cage. And of course, the abdominal cavity here contains digestive organs like the stomach, liver, and the intestine. So, body cavities literally translates to the space or the organized regions inside your body that houses multiple organs and at the same time protects it. Yan. So you can see examples here. Cranial cavity, vertebral cavity, thoracic cavity, abdominal cavity, pelvic cavity. So you can see both difference comparisons in size in viewing when viewing them in lateral view or anterior view. Next is the directional terms. These terms help describe the location of body parts relative to one another. So for example, anterior means front. Yan. Anterior means front. Posterior means back. Superior means above. Inferior means below. Medial, of course, by the term itself, it is towards the midline versus ang lateral naman is away from the midline. Yan, mga directional terms. And next, meron ding category na planes of the body. If the body would be cut in certain sections, this is the right terms to use, anatomical and medical terms to use. So, meron tayong sagittal, if you'll be cut in half lengthwise, sagittal, frontal, ito, will be cut in half, but separate ang front half sa back half, in contrast with the sagittal plane, which is, you'll be cut in half lengthwise, pero left and right ang separated parts. And also transverse plane, if you'll be cut in half na upper body and lower body. So that's it. Those are the planes of the body. Of course, since this is the main focus of human anatomy, we're going to talk about the human body organ systems, but we'll have a short overview by just showing you this picture, which indicates kung ano na mga body parts ang involved with each of these 11 body systems. These are 11 kasi si male reproductive system and si female reproductive system are separated, but they both belong to the reproductive system of the body. Of course, integumentary system, or the skin, protects the body from external damage. Integumentary system. The skeletal system provides structure and support. And next, the muscular system facilitates movement. Nervous system controls and coordinates body activities. Endocrine system regulates hormones. Circulatory system regulates and transports blood and nutrients. Lymphatic system supports immunity. Respiratory system facilitates gas exchange. Digestive system breaks down food. Urinary system eliminates waste, and both of these reproductive system produces offspring. Now, what is the point of BS Office Administration students learning about ILOA 3, Human Anatomy and Physiology? So how do we connect this with your field? For you, BSOA students, understanding anatomy and physiology might seem unrelated to your field. However, it would play a crucial role for example, sa workplace environment nyo, or specifically ergonomics. So, knowing body mechanics can prevent strain and injuries. For example, mga prolonged period of hours that you'll be sitting in front of the computer. Yan. Also for health literacy, understanding how the body works helps you recognize signs of stress or illness in yourself and even sa imong mga colleagues. And lastly, for emergency response, where basic knowledge of body functions can be life-saving in emergencies. And of course, this foundation enables you to better manage your health, and you can contribute better to a healthier, more productive work environment specifically, and the outside environment, your community in general. So that's it for the introduction to human anatomy and physiology. Here are your required readings, which is related to what we have talked about today. So please visit the Science of Anatomy and Human Body Organization. So we will have a short quiz about these two sites this week. All right, thank you so much for listening. Have a great day, everyone.